All right, we're again, welcome. I'm Chris Smith. I'm the principal. I think most of you hopefully know me. Why don't we just go around and we'll start with Mrs. Barton. I'm looking at my screen, so I'm just kind of calling you Mrs. Barton. You can start and just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Diana Barton, the sixth grade the special education teacher that works with sixth grade students.
Mrs. Yoon.
Hi, I'm Susie Yoon. I'm one of the sixth grade general education teachers.
Mrs. Zaman.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Zaman, also one of the sixth grade general ed teachers.
Mr. Parker.
Hi there, I'm Michael Parker. I'm one of the assistant principals and I support sixth grade.
All right, and I think for staff, that's who we have. If I've missed someone, they can go ahead and speak up there. Oh, Mr. Beasley, how are you? Go ahead, Mr. Beasley, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lawrence Beasley, the school-based technology specialist for Daniels Run.
All right, so this is unfortunately going to be me talking at you for, hopefully we'll try to get it down to about 20 minutes here. And then if you want, the chat is open and you can write questions in the chat as we go and we'll loop back at the end to those. Or if you want to wait to the end and ask your question verbally, we can do that as well. So again, thanks for joining us. And again, this meeting is going to be heavy on information for the students who are returning to in-person instruction. But sixth grade, again, is a little unique in that all of our teachers, we did not, because we needed someone to be what we're calling fully concurrent, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But all of our teachers have some in-person kids and some kids who will be staying 100% virtual. So we'll talk a little bit about that as we go. So remember our dates, Thursday and Friday this week are teacher prep days. So they will, students will have asynchronous work for that entire day. Monday, we'll have our normal Monday social emotional lesson. And then Tuesday, our Tuesday, Wednesday students will start in person. And Thursday, our Thursday, Friday students will return in person. So that's our timeline here for sixth grade. And some health measures here. And so you know, these slides were created centrally for us, and I've massaged them a little bit to meet how we'll do things here at Daniels Run. I'm not going to read every word on these slides to you, and I'm happy to go back. I think this is my third presentation, so if I move too fast, somebody tell me to slow down. So we'll go through some health measures first. The first thing is there is a health screening form. It is a one-time form that needs to be completed for every in-person student that's returning. You can find that in Parent View. That traditionally is something that, because we don't use it from a grading perspective, that sometimes elementary parents aren't as familiar with Parent View as our secondary parents are. But if you as sixth grade parents, I would recommend that you log into Parent View. If you need help, just contact the main office and they can help you with that account. But you can complete the form electronically. You can get a copy of it. I believe it's in the email that we sent last week that the teacher sent. You can send it with your student on the first day. But bottom line is, before they head into class next Tuesday or Thursday, we will need that form completed. Again, it's a one-time form, basically saying you're not going to send your child to school if they have any COVID-like symptoms. Next will be social distancing at school. We'll show you a picture here of a kindergarten classroom in a few minutes, but you know, desks are 6 feet apart. You know, we're gonna buses. They are going to maintain social distancing on the buses as well. We are going to eat in classrooms, and we'll talk about lunch in a little bit. Our hallways, luckily, are big enough that we can maintain 6 feet of distance, and they're passing pretty quickly. But you know, particularly in the classrooms, you know, we need to maintain that 6 foot social distancing, and teachers have set up those classrooms. Cleaning protocols. Give me a second while I add a few more people. So we have sanitizing and disinfecting more frequently. The big thing is during lunch, when the sixth graders are out at lunch, our custodians will come through and clean the rooms, particularly give the desks a wipe with the Virex solution, which is the solution that our county has been using to kill the virus. We have the custodians are going around and cleaning high touch surface areas more frequently, doorknobs, railings, things like that. And we have more. Classroom has hand sanitizing not a station, but hand sanitizer. We have hand sanitizing stations at our entrance and exit areas, and certainly encouraging students to wash hands as frequently as they can are some of our other cleaning protocols. And there we go, hand washing, which is one of the last things about this time exactly last year. We went around and re-emphasized how important the correct way to wash hands were. So that's going to continue to be important. Good news is sixth grade has the bathrooms, very close to them in that hallway. So that'll be convenient for them to do. Face coverings, just like when we're going outside anywhere, right? At this point, when you go into a store or anything, we got to keep the face coverings on. We do have extra here if students forget to bring one. I know that some grade levels were requesting students bring two. Certainly I'd say put a couple in their bag, probably not a bad thing, especially with recess. Sixth graders are known to sweat a little bit. So we do have extras, but they should also have their own. Next here, so face coverings. The big thing I just want to say here, if they have a face covering with this vent, Fairfax is saying that in the health department that that's not a proper face covering, so it should not have that vent. And then the other thing is it just shouldn't be like a scarf or a bandana. The gaiters are okay, again, as long as they're more than one layer, which most are at this point, is the big thing on the masks. And we do have a care room. It is upstairs here in the main office. It's either my office or the main conference room. So if a student does start to exhibit COVID-like symptoms, they will, our clinic aide will take their temperature and evaluate them. And if she believes that they are COVID-like symptoms, then we'll be giving you a call. But they will be in one of the two rooms, either my office or the main conference office or main conference room. Arrival. So as kids start to come in, we're going to ask this year that walkers and Kiss and Ride use both door number 2. That's a little bit of a change. In the past, Kiss and Ride has used door 3 by the cafeteria, and walkers have just kind of come into door 1, but we're going to attempt, and this may change. This is our best plan we have right now. And the buses will use door 1. And of course, the focus will be the safety and well-being of our students. Basically, we have about 200 students coming back per day. I believe Thursday, Friday, I think is just a couple below that. Tuesday, Wednesday, I think is up to like 215 or so, but roughly about 200 kids per day. So, it's going to look different in terms of Kiss and Ride and buses. It's certainly not as many kids. We usually, if you don't know, we have about, last year we were right around 760 kids in our building each day. All right, dismissal. So at about 3:25, we're going to send the walkers out towards door 2. So we're going to try to get our walkers out of the building a few minutes early. So again, we can keep keep the hallways spaced as we can. At 3:30, we'll start dismissing Kiss and Ride. I should probably go back and say that I didn't. Mr. Parker will be handing out numbers in the morning. So if you're planning to walk in the morning and pick up in the afternoon, I would come and get a number from Mr. Parker, because it's easy to give out numbers in the morning. All we're doing is getting kids out of cars. In the afternoon, when we're writing numbers down and getting kids from classrooms, it's a little bit more complicated. So see Mr. Parker to get a number. And then Kiss and Ride, as cars pull up, we will radio down to dismiss for them. And bus riders will again use door 1. So again, this is our current plan. First and second graders come back tomorrow, so if that plan goes well, we'll stick with it. If not, we'll make some adjustments and let you know if we need to do that. Let's move on to bus transportation. Bottom line here, again, a couple places that you can see it, but we're going to be calling parents to give you that bus information. This is 4 grade levels coming back next week. So if you haven't heard from us by next Monday, certainly call the main office, but give us the rest of this week to get those phone calls done. You can also find them again in your parent view account. And again, they'll be required to wear face covering and have social distancing on the bus as well. There's also an app, Here Comes the Bus app, which provides school bus arrival information. And certainly call us with any detail or any questions. So concurrent instructions. So once we finally get here, then we're going to be teaching the kids. Again, 6th grade's a little bit unique in that we have all 3 groups of students in each class. So a group that'll be here Tuesday and Wednesday, while another group is online, who will come in Thursday and Friday, and then our other group of students who are fully online. Oops, lost my spot, sorry. And so again, concurrent just means that we're teaching both kids in the classroom and also at home. And I want to take a couple of minutes here. It's going to take, our 6th grade teacher is going to have to build routines, right? Now they're 6th graders. So for instance, 2 weeks ago, kindergarten's first day, it took 15 minutes to line up in the hallway and get out to recess. I don't think it's going to take our 6th graders that long, but it's going to take a few minutes, right, to build routines such as those, right, or how we transition back from recess. So, if you are a parent of someone who is all virtual, certainly bear with us, for the first few weeks as we build these routines. Hand washing, things like that, right? So you certainly are going to see when you're in the virtual environment, more independent work than you're currently seeing, than you've seen in the past few months when everyone has been virtual. Okay, so this is another new way of teaching. This has never really been done before certainly in a K through 6 environment. So you see here, this is some examples of what you'll see early on, this initiation phase, where certainly during morning meeting or class meeting, I think 6th grade, your class meeting is towards the end of your day, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, your class meeting, everyone will be together, either in the Google Meet or in the classroom. When you do the language arts and math focus lessons, certainly maybe even your content time or dragon time, maybe another time where everyone is pulled together. But within that language arts or math, whatever academic block it is, after those first 10 or 15 minutes, the in-person kid or the online kids, again, may have more independent work than they've had in the past since we started in September. We certainly plan to move down this continuum, and we'll certainly be better in May than we are right now. But again, I just want to make sure that we're setting expectations that if you are, in that virtual environment, again, you're going to see a bit more independent work. It's not, the big thing I want to make sure we're clear on, it is not, if you're at home, you still have support of the teacher. It's certainly not a fully asynchronous day, but it is going to look a little different than what we're currently doing. Next, so a couple classrooms, and these are our kindergartners, but the kids are bigger and the desks are a little higher, but you get a little sense there of what the rooms look like with the teacher up front. It looks pretty traditional, things that we've been trying to get away from, which is desks and rows, but that's what we have to do now. So you see there's space. 6th grade will figure out ways to keep their kids organized with supplies and stuff, but you get a little sense of what it looks like there. Kindergarten, it's just the reverse picture. We're kind of looking at it more from the teacher's lens there. So you get an idea of what the classrooms look like. So lunch, we said again, we'll be eating in the classroom. FCPS, you can certainly bring your own lunch. We have lunch available. Breakfast and lunch is available free for all students for the remainder of the year. We're working on a possible hot lunch option, and if that occurs, it won't be until after spring break. So right now, everything at lunch is cold. It shouldn't be a cold pizza, even though I actually like cold pizza, but you know, it's usually sandwiches for lunch. Sometimes I think it's chicken tenders. They are fully cooked, but they are cold. And again, we'll work with our cafeteria. At this point, as of up until now, the health department is not allowing them to serve a hot lunch. And we think after spring break, that may be able to change. So we'll have to figure out if we can work on that logistically to get kids up to the cafeteria. The big thing at recess is the playgrounds are off limits. So I'll show you a visual here of what we're planning. And classes, the teachers' class should stay together. And so I'll show you that map here in a second. But masks are required outside. We certainly recognize there's going to be times that students run around that it may fall down, and teachers will remind them of that, or they may think they can take it off, but the expectation is that it will stay on outside as well. And again, as we come back in, we'll certainly use hand sanitizer and spend time washing hands as we return. You know, the other things about recess is no throwing of, nothing should be shared. I'm trying to say this the right way. You can't share something and throw it, if that makes sense. So like soccer is good. We can kick and share. We cannot throw and share. And these aren't Mr. Smith's rules. These are health department rules. Jump rope, again, they can jump rope. They just can't share that jump rope with somebody. So we have recess carts for each grade level. And our PE teachers have done a good job of trying to prep those. And if sixth grade needs other materials, we'll certainly get what they need. But it will look a little different. But we want to make sure they get outside and run around and have fun. So we have these designated areas. So for instance, and I don't know if this is the case, but you know, when sixth grade comes back, Miss June, for example, the first week, she might have field A or number 1 here, which is, and so her class will stay there in that group. Again, remember the numbers, particularly in sixth grade, aren't, you know, we're not talking about a class of 28 or 30, right? We're talking about classes in, 10, 11, 12 range. So I know that area at first might look small, but when you go out there, we do think that's going to be a good area, large enough for them to run around. We have mini soccer goals. Trying to think of some other things we have in the recess carts, but we're trying to load them up with a variety of things for kids to play with. All right, next, so school supplies. The big thing here is no communal school supplies. So I think sixth grade, I think you've already sent a list, right, last week with what we're asking kids to bring in. The big thing is they just can't share them, right? So we can't have, in the past, we might have some students bring a bunch of markers in and then put those in a bin and share them through the whole class. So each kid needs their own supplies. And the one thing on here, and this is my thought, I was hoping to provide a refillable water bottle. We're missing 1 box. So that's about 100. So we have about 100 here. So we're going to give some to each teacher. And if right now, what I would say as a sixth grade parent, if you can send a water bottle with your student, that would be best. If you don't, we'll have one here for them. And then once we get that last shipment in here, we'll make sure all the students get that Daniel's Run water bottle. But plan on sending one with them next week. You can do that. And then water fountains can be used to refill water bottles, but not to drink out of. And student laptops. So students should bring their laptop and charger each day. We're going to be giving them a case. So the first day they get here, we have cases for them, which Lawrence, they don't have yet, correct? Only third and fourth grade cases, right? Okay.
Only third and fourth.
So we'll give them a case, and you'll be bringing that laptop with you each day that you come in. And this is certainly the schools that are FCPS on schools. You know, for our sixth graders, this should be a non-issue. They should be able to handle this. And again, we'll give them the case, so it's pretty easy carrying. And if they drop it, which I know they won't, it will protect it from that. Visitors, just know, continue to make appointments. If you need to visit, you will have to complete a health screening questionnaire and wear a mask if you're here. And really should only be essential activities for any visitors. If they are ill here at school, there's a number of things. Again, we talked a little bit about this earlier. If they have one of these symptoms and our nurse determines that it is a COVID symptom, we will call you and ask to be picked up, and a form does need to be completed for them to return from, and the form needs to be completed by a doctor. So, certainly, right, if they exhibit any of these symptoms before they come, the best thing is not to send them. And then returning to school after illness, I just went over that. We'll provide you with the form that needs to be completed by a medical professional if they have those symptoms. And then response to COVID in the classroom. There's a lot of words here to basically say this is a case-by-case basis. We've had one case in our preschool back in November. And what happens is once a positive test is reported to me, I then report to the health department who has tested positive, who the close contacts are. The close contacts are that, under contact with someone under 6 feet for 15 or more minutes within a 24-hour period. And then they start to work through that contact tracing information, and I'll work along with our health department to make a determination if the class has to be pushed to all virtual or if some of the class can remain. So we'll deal with that. We communicate communicate general communication that a case has occurred. We can tell you whether it's a staff member or a student, and then the close contacts get, they'll get more information from the health department. And last, I'll leave this for the 6th grade team. If somebody wants to mention FLE here, go ahead.
So the week right before spring break, that 1 hour of asynchronous time at the very end of the day, typically students spend that time either in small group with their gen ed teacher or with a special education teacher, or sometimes some students maybe be doing asynchronous work at that time. So during that last 1 hour block, we're going to request all students who are typically working independently to return back to class for that 1 hour so we can continue with family life education for the remainder of that week. Did I miss anything, Ms. Barton, Mrs. Amon?
No, but just that. So that's our tentative plan where we're
Yes.
trying to figure out, reaching out to some other schools to see how they're handling FLE. And I should have also added, and it's similar, one of the challenges here is, with advanced math, we are going to be switching students. And so, if they have Mrs. Yoon, right, and for all the, for the homeroom and other content areas, but Ms. Zaman for math, the student will physically move if they're in the building to Ms. Zaman's class. So the part of the, why I say the FLE is tentative is just trying to think about, okay, how many, because typically we put boys together, girls together, and figuring out how we're gonna do that. We'll take a little thought. So that at this point is it. That was 26 minutes. I think we started at 5:02. To be fair to me, it was only 24 minutes. A lot of information. So why don't we start with the questions in the chat, Mr. Parker?
Yeah, actually, it was a specific question that I answered, so we actually don't have any in the chat.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, then I'll open up the floor to 6th grade parents. What questions do you have about either returning to school or staying all virtual? Looks like Mr. Dang, I see your hand up if you want to go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Dang, I think your mic is muted.
Spoken like a true expert of virtual teaching.
Oh, hi. Yes. Hi. How are you? Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Is back to school a must, or do students still have a choice of virtual school?
Not a must, right? We've been sending that information out. So the only, if you want to change it, you'd have to contact us. I'm not sure if your student is.
Yeah, so So Mr. Dang, as of right now, Vincent, he's signed up for just staying virtual for the remainder of the school year.
Okay, so if we want to change that, we have to submit a form.
Just email me and Mrs. Hine, our other assistant principal, because she's handling all that.
Okay,
All right.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Smith, we had a question in the chat, and I need a little more clarification on this. How do I know what group my child is in? So, Mr. St. Clair, if you're able to give us a little more
Are
clarity.
you asking about Tuesday, Wednesday versus Thursday, Friday group?
Precisely.
Yeah. Assuming, and sorry, I don't know by heart, but if it's the same last name, if your child has the same last name as you, it is should be Thursday, Friday, unless you received some other communication from us that it was different. I think you're muted too, Mr. St. Clair. Oh,
No, I haven't received.
okay. So it should be Thursday, Friday.
No, I mean,
If you want, you can always call the school here and we can confirm with you. But it should be Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, and Mr. St. Clair, I'm looking at the list right now. As of right now, I have class down for Thursday and Friday.
There you go.
Just muted yourself.
I had another question. Can you hear me?
We can. It's a little delayed, but go ahead.
Okay. So my other question that was on there was, is it only just this first week that they go once, and then after that they do the normal rotation?
When they return next week, they're going 2 days a week.
Oh, okay. I thought it said that they were only going on Thursday, so that's why I was confused.
So we'll see them both
Okay.
Thursday and Friday next week. All right. Other questions? Sixth grade team, is there anything that you need to add, or any mistakes I made?
I mean, maybe just one thing I want to add on to is that for advanced math, when students will be switching from their homeroom teacher to, let's say, another math class or advanced math, they'll have their own also individual desk where no other student will sit. So that, that specific space will always be theirs when they return to math and back to their homeroom.
Thank you, Susie. Looks like Mr. Gang. Is that all? Is that your hand up from, is that a new question or just your hand up from last time? Good. Okay. Mr. Beasley, I think you had something.
Yeah, just wanted to remind all the parents how important it is for the students to charge their laptops each evening before coming to school. Bring a charged laptop in will help sustain the laptop throughout the day, even though we have some helpful chargers in each room, but it does help to have the laptops charged before they come in the building each day.
Thank you, Mr. Beasley, because I don't think I said that. So thanks for catching that. Well, Mr. St. Clair, I think your hand's up, yeah?
So what other supplies? Is it just like, besides the laptop, I mean, is it the standard list of supplies they would normally get September 1st, or is there a list that I should be looking at?
Yeah, so Mr. St. Clair, in an email that was sent out.
Did my message not get through?
So Mr. St. Clair, in the email that I sent out last week, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very long and lengthy email that had a lot of dates and a lot of information, but essentially the supply list is there. But off the top of my head, the things that we really want students who are returning in person to bring with them are a set of headphones. That's like a big priority, a set of headphones. 2 notebooks, and specifically, I think we said dry erase markers, and any other particular items that they wanted to bring for themselves, like colored pencils, they can also bring that. But we said primarily headphones and 2 sets of notebooks and dry erase markers. I can also forward you again as well the supply list one more time, because I do understand that email with the letter, it was very, very long.
No, that's fine. I don't delete your emails, so I can go back and find it again.
I was going to try to post, here they are. I'm going to post it in the chat for us as well. Oh, give me a second. And there you go. It's also in the chat. You can take a look at it there, what supplies are needed for 6th grade.
Mr. Smith, Miss Hebert has her hand up.
Yes, go ahead, Miss Hebert.
I should probably know this, but I don't.
Sorry, you got your parent hat on.
Yeah. So if a child for some reason does need to take their mask off for a break, is there an option for that? Is that going to be,
Yeah. Yes. Mask breaks are allowed. They're encouraged. The best place to take a mask break would be outside. So that's why the recess is kind of like, yes, they're supposed to wear their mask, and we also realize we're outside, and that's the best place to take a break, right? And we'll meet with teachers later this week, but my instruction to the other teachers and the other grade levels have been, if they need a mask break in class, it's okay, but then you need to be really strict about the 6-foot distancing. And in fact, in 6th grade, even if we can extend that distance, somehow, whether it's letting them go out in the hallway real quick, or you might be able to in your classrooms, because they're not as packed as some others, let them go to a corner of the classroom or something where maybe they're 8 or 10 feet away. So it's allowed, and yes.
Okay.
That help?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
This may have been in the really long email that I apparently didn't read very well. But how are specials being handled? I'm assuming they're handled the same way when you're at home, but how are they handled when you're in class?
Yeah, so for everything except music, the teachers will be coming in, and teachers, correct me if I'm wrong, because we're in, again, a little bit of a different situation with 6th grade. I know music, we're going to have a classroom monitor for music, because they're going to have Mrs. McCartan, who has a virtual teaching assignment. For arts and PE and Spanish, the teacher should be coming into the classroom with the students. So they won't be going out to the gym, or they won't be going out to the art classroom right now. If some of the restrictions ease up over the course of the next couple of months, that's our goal, would be to get them into the gym and art classrooms and things like that. Am I right? Is there another, Susie or Jennifer? I don't know if off the top of your head if you know, but I know for sure music's the one spot where they will have a classroom monitor for that 30 minutes a week. Band is in person. Yep. So they'll actually, you're right, Diana. Again, 4th through 6th grade is a little different than our younger grades. So they will go out to the trailers on their music day for band or strings, if they're a band or string student.
But what if band is on Wednesday, but my child goes in on Thursday?
It's a good question that I would say, can you, Jeff, I'll write it down and have the band teach. Is it band? Is that what you said? Band or strings?
Classes and band.
Yeah, I think they've worked this out, and I'll have the band teacher touch base with you.
Sounds good.
All right. Anything else? We have another meeting starting at 6:15 for our Spanish-speaking family. So I'm here if you want to stay on and ask more questions. If you want to start your evening, feel free to do that. Thank you to our staff who has attended, and you are able to come back at 6:15. Thanks. If not, have a great night. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thanks for your time. Let us know. Feel free to call here over the next week if you have any other questions that come up.
Okay, thanks. Good night.
Kind of reminded me a little bit of when I taught high school. The nice part about teaching seniors was like, rarely did any of the senior parents come to a back to school night, or right. You kind of just trust them more, right? So like, you know, 6th grade parents, right? I think they're ready to move on, just like their kids at this point, right, to middle school, and they're kind of a little bit less stressed than some of our younger grade parents. That's okay.
Mr. Smith, should we stop
Oh, yeah.
recording?
Good point there, Susan. Thank you.